Yes. For the next 5 years or so, I mean, obviously, WWE is going to continue to expand and reach out as they are establishing bases everywhere around the world. And in doing so, they're going to show these other promotions where the money is and where the money isn't. And a lot of people will learn valuable lessons, to say the least, during that time. Those who are actively involved and those watching from the sidelines. I think also within the next 5 years, I don't want to say that a rise is going to occur, but I feel as though the mentality in cooperation with what I was just talking about, but the mentality of, hey, we saw what TNA did, the 90s model doesn't work, the 90s level of thinking doesn't work. And I feel like for a lot of critics and pundits and people like Keith and Brandon, myself, obviously you, Danny, we understand that. But I think that as WWE begins to expand, it will really hammer it home for some people, where guys like Russo will never be booked again, will never be consulted. And people will realize that pro wrestling can be a bit something different. And pro wrestling doesn't have to have that local dialogue that it's had for so many years because, again, I'm talking more specifically within the States because of a lot of what we've seen over the last 20 years or so, or even prior to the closing of the second major promotion, WCW, here in America. It was all Southern in some way. I mean, obviously you have that Northern influence later on with Vince McMahon, etc. Obviously, he being born in or being raised in South Carolina. But yeah, so I think mentality will definitely shift. I think that as WWE, because again, the network, and same thing with FloSlam, very aggressive as trying to get these platforms established, trying to get wrestling fans to digest wrestling in a different way. Because in reality, and what we've seen with, especially again with TNA, when they were on Destination America and they were on Pop TV, these networks thought they would get a ton more ads and tons more people saying, hey, this show does over 1 million people. I want my commercial somewhere in there. And that wasn't the case. And so I think that stigma of pro wrestling is still there. And because of that, again, we're going to see a lot of people taking a look into, hey, we don't want to go into the TV direction because nobody wants us there and people are cutting cords anyways. What can we do to get our product online? So in the next 5 years, I would not be surprised if more than any other genre of entertainment, if you will, if pro wrestling is as digital and up to the tech specs and geek chic as can be.
I agree with that sentiment. And here are my final thoughts. I think wrestling fans are more willing to try something new than your traditional like cable viewer or somebody like that, where wrestling fans have always been ahead of the curve. When it came to newsletters, they were ahead of the curve. When it came to like watching on cable, wrestling was ahead of the curve. Wrestling was there when the earliest days of TV and the earliest days of cable and the earliest days of the internet and wrestling always has tried to find what is next in technology, and I think they've been very successful at doing that. And to me, that's what is going to make wrestling survive in the future of this industry. It's the people in wrestling are visionaries.
You can always tell, like whenever some new media comes about and it becomes usable to create media and to sell it, TV or movies or whatever. The first two industries that get involved are pro wrestling and pornography. So
yes.
Wherever those two are going, that's where the world's headed.
We should end on that. May I have everyone's Twitter handle, starting with you, Keith?
I'm at Glasgow KJH.
Now, JKH. KJH.
Yeah, that's right. My initials.
Yeah, I got that confused on the format. Pulling the curtain back. Tom?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to follow me, at MIS Podcast, that's at MIS Podcast, Military Industrial Suplex, iTunes, Google Play, Pro Wrestling Only, SoundCloud feed. I actually have some pretty exciting shows coming up in June. So going to start recording again. Took a little time off, a little well-deserved vacation, but the Tommy Bahama shirt is being retired, and I'm back.
And Brandon, where can they find you and your various Twitter profiles and things?
You can follow me on Twitter at Brandon Thurston, BrandonThurston. You can read my articles on Fightful.com. You can find them on Fightful.com by clicking on the features section and finding my name, Brandon Howard, and then you'll see everything I've written in reverse chronological order. I write 2 to 3, 4, maybe 5 things per month for Fightful.com on WWE business or just whatever is going on.
And I would like to thank the listeners of Meet the Press Slam for following and listening to this. You can follow me at Meet Press Slam. It's 3 simple words, Meet Press Slam. I didn't add the in there because I thought it would be more impactful to say Meet Press Slam. It's sort of like the caveman mentality of Meet Press Slam! But I would like to thank everybody for listening, and you can stop recording now.
All right. I'll go ahead and stop it.